You write, there are tens of millions of Americans who aren't on the hard left or the hard right who feel the world has gone mad. So in what ways has the world gone mad?
Well, you know, when you have the chief reporter on the beat of COVID for the New York Times talking about how questioning or pursuing the question of the lab leak is racist, the world has gone mad. When you're not able to say out loud and in public that there are differences between men and women, the world has gone mad. When we're not allowed to acknowledge that rioting is rioting and it is bad, and that silence is not violence, but violence is violence, the world has gone mad. When we're not able to say that Hunter Biden's laptop is a story worth pursuing, the world has gone mad. When, in the name of progress, young school children, as young as kindergarten, are being separated in public schools because of their race, and that is called progress rather than segregation, the world has gone mad. There are dozens of examples that I could share with you and with your viewers. And
you often say,
everyone
allowed.
Sort of knows this, and
you say we're not allowed, we're not able.
Between...
Who's the people stopping the conversation? Who are they?
People that work at networks, frankly, like the one I'm speaking on right now, who try and claim that, you know, it was racist to investigate the lab leak theory. It was.
But
I mean,
who
let's
said
just
that
take
at
an
CNN?
example.
But I'm just saying that when you say allowed, I just think it's a provocative thing you say. You say we're not allowed to talk about these things, but they're all over the internet. I can Google them. I can find them everywhere. I've heard about every story you mentioned.
Course.
So I'm just suggesting, of course, people are allowed to cover whatever they want to cover.
But you and I both know, and it would be delusional to claim otherwise, that touching your finger to an increasing number of subjects that have been deemed third rail by the mainstream institutions and increasingly by some of the tech companies will lead to reputational damage, perhaps you losing your job, your children sometimes being demonized as well. And so what happens is a kind of internal self-censorship. This is something that I saw over and over again when I was at the New York Times. People saying to themselves, you know what, why should I die on that hill? Why should I take the 3 or 4 weeks that it takes to smuggle through an op-ed that doesn't suit the conventional narrative? I might as well commission the 5,000th op-ed saying that Donald Trump is a moral monster. What's going on is the transformation of these sense-making institutions of American life. It's the news media, it's the publishing houses, it's the Hollywood studios, it's our universities, and they are narrowing in a radical way what's acceptable to say and what isn't. And you and I both know there doesn't need to be an edict from the C-suite in order for people to feel that. All they need is to watch an example. Let me give you one example. Dorian Abbott is a geophysicist at the University of Chicago. He is absolutely brilliant, and he was slated to give the Carlson Lecture at MIT. It's an incredibly prestigious public lecture. But he was canceled from that lecture because of a Twitter mob. And what was his sin? Well, he argued that people should be hired on the basis of their merit and their individual, and their individuality, not based on their identity as a group. That was his thought crime. And for that, MIT, one of the most important research universities in the world, caved in a matter of 8 days. Now you can say to me, oh, that's cherry picking, oh, that's a one-off. What are the downstream effects of an example like that? Every other scientist, every other academic who's watching that is saying, wait, hold on. If he's being canceled for that, what does that mean for me? I might as well shut up. I might as well practice doublethink in the freest society in the history of the world. That is one of the great stories of our time, and that is the story that's been uncovered largely, not because of disinformation or not because they're lying about it, simply because they're ignoring it. It's disinformation by omission.
So people know not to touch the stove. You're saying people are learning not to touch the stove, and thus the narrowing of the worldview is happening. So look, this is why I'm a subscriber to Common Sense. I think these subjects are really, really important, and we need to talk about them openly on TV and address what's happened. The idea that cancel culture is happening but is minor has been a narrative out there in recent weeks. I'm sure you've read some of these stories saying, yeah, okay, yes, there are a few examples of people being so-called canceled, but it is not an emergency, not a massive situation. You are making the argument that because of self-censorship, cancel culture is pervasive. Is that a fair assessment?
Yeah, I would say it's extraordinarily pervasive. And what I'm saying and what I find so interesting is that you don't need a strongman and you don't need an edict from the top in order for this to be felt in a very, very, very pervasive way. All you need is a few of these very potent examples, and then what you need is cowardice at the top of a lot of these organizations. You need people who are unwilling to say no to the small minority of ideological zealots who believe in this, who want to negotiate with it for whatever reason. And as we have learned from the Trump administration, institutions are just people. Institutions are just people. And so if an institution whose job it is to uphold, let's say, liberalism, broadly defined, decides not to do that anymore, why should it be a surprise then that that institution becomes illiberal? We've just watched what happens in that sense. Yeah, I mean, that's what I would say about that.
Your point about the leadership is really vital here. When there is a crowd on Twitter or some other social media site complaining, saying, you've offended me, you've hurt me, you've been racist, you've been sexist, you've been whatever it is. And then that Twitter mob can sound really loud and really powerful. It's actually still a small number of people.
Yes.
But we do see companies sometimes cave to what sounds like a huge crowd that's actually pretty small. And that is a story that's happened over and over again. And it sounds like you're trying to push back against that.
I'm definitely trying to push back against that. One of my ways of pushing back against that is simply starting another party. I mean, meaning you can stay in the room and try and, scream as loud as is possible every single time it happens, or you could say, you know what? I'm going to be my own boss. I'm not going to worry about, angering a tiny group of people on Twitter and then being subject to, a masthead or a boss that doesn't have the spine to stand up to it.
Good evening. My name is Tatiana Ibrahim, and I'm here for the first time. I'm here tonight not only as a community member, but as a parent in this district. Recently, you sent out a survey wanting to know why parents were not voting yes for this budget. So my situation, my vote for no is a little different. I think the Board of Education and those sitting on the panels are thieves. I think they're liars and have committed treason against our children. My message to this district and the members of the Board of Ed: stop indoctrinating our children. Stop teaching our children to hate the police. Stop teaching our children that if they don't agree with the LGBT community, that they're homophobic. You have no idea each child's life. You don't know what their family lifestyle consists of. You don't know the makeup of their life. You have children like mine who is Muslim, and I'm Christian. And everyone would think, they would never believe that of her, right? Because the way she looks, or according to Miss Cyrus, she's too pasty white.
Ma'am, excuse me, I'm up here. We're not allowed to use names. If you have something you'd like to discuss about a specific person, you can call the superintendent or leave your info for her to call you tomorrow.
Why are we not allowed to discuss names? Why am I not allowed when they purposely themselves expose themselves on social media, talking about calling for the death of a former president, or saying that any child that doesn't believe in Black Lives Matter should be canceled out? Is this what my tax dollars is paying for? You're teaching my children and other children that if they believe in God Almighty, they're part of a cult. These educators put their own names out there. We have Mr. Berry, who took it upon himself with Miss Cyrus to create a curriculum.
That should be it.
Do you want the proof? I have the proof. You created a curriculum of Black Panther indoctrination.
Ma'am,
You use taxpayers' dollars.
can I ask you one more time? I have no issue hearing what you have to say, but
Why can we not let the public speak? Why can't we let the public know that you're teaching our children to go out and murder our police officers? Do you want the proof? I have the proof. Is that what scares you, the proof? That a parent actually standing up against all of you? Is that what scares you, to call out the names of these people? You work for me. I don't work for you. You have a duty. We are entrusting our children to you. We teach our children morals, values when they grow up to commit crimes and end up in prison and kill a police officer. It's our fault? No, it's your fault. You're emotionally abusing our children and mentally abusing them. You're demoralizing them by teaching them communist values. This is still America, ma'am. And as long as I'm standing here on this good ground earth of God, I will fight. And this is not the last of me you will see. I'm retired. I have nothing else better to do. We can do it peacefully, or we can take it to the highest courts, because you know and I know I'm not the only parent fighting this all across America right now. Schools are trying to poison our children's minds, teaching them about things that they have no right to be taught in school.
So normally, I'm just going to, if you don't mind, I'm going to just give you just a feedback for a moment. I have no problem having a peaceful discussion. This is not a peaceful discussion.
No, that's your opinion. See, here we go again. This is peaceful. To me, this is peaceful.
Well,
I'm not burning, looting, and murdering. This is peaceful.
I did not accuse you of that, but I don't have a problem having a conversation with you, a peaceful conversation, which is, this is not.
$6.95 per child in the middle school to buy a curriculum from readtome.org that wasn't even approved by the Board of Ed. The administrators took it upon themselves to buy these books with taxpayer dollars while COVID is going on. How many families are struggling to pay their mortgages? Listen, by all means, you want to teach kids these things, fine. Don't do it on my dollar. Don't infringe on my religious beliefs. Don't infringe. Do you know who makes up the majority of this district? Children from police officers' families. Blues. Back the blue children. Do you know what these children feel like when they come home? Have you spoken to them? No, you're silencing them. This whole cancel culture, you're silencing the children. Where are their rights? They have no rights. Because if they don't believe in the indoctrination, the demonic, twisted, sneaky, vile acts and education, if you call it that you're teaching our children, they don't agree with that. They're either homophobic, they're part of a cult, they're racist. What's racist? Who defines racist? Why? Because do you know what race I am? Do you? You don't. You don't even have an idea. I could be black, I could be white, I could be Asian, you don't know. Who are you to determine that? Who is anyone to determine that? You know what? Children in the school system, children like other children, they don't look at color. Black and white children, Hispanic children, you know why they get along? Because they don't look at each other's color. So you're the racist, not them, not us. You're judging and dividing. You're causing segregation. Everything that we fought for, everything that I fought for years. So you have the right to stand here and tell me I'm not allowed to mention a name when the person, the Mr. Barry and Miss Cyrus themselves, you have ELA teachers giving out assignments on police murder. Police are bad? You want the proof?
Okay.
Because we have it.
So
What policy do you have that teachers are not allowed to go on social media and indoctrinate? They took an oath, a responsibility, and they're going against everything that they stand for.
well, I understand.
End it? End it? I have to end it?
So
Why?
Why?
Why? You're on my dollar. Why?
Well, actually,
Why?
I work for nothing doing this.
Oh, you work for nothing. Oh.
I do. This is a volunteer position, number
Okay.
one.
It's
Number
still
two-
my taxes paying for everything.
I hear
This
what you're
podium is every taxpayer's dollar here. We have rights. We have rights.
And you're making general assumptions.
No, I'm not making assumptions. I'm not.
Because you
I
just-
know what I'm speaking about. See,
know what?
I don't
I'm not
agree with you,
gonna
so it's an
engage.
assumption.
Well, I'm not going to engage in a back and forth with you. about this. So if you would like to make an appointment, I would be happy to sit with the superintendent.
I don't
and have
want to. The
conversation.
superintendent, the assistant superintendent already sent an email and stated that they had no idea that these books were being put in the students' hands. The superintendent already stated that they had no idea that the funds of taxpayers were supporting this. Black Panthers, do you know Black Panthers is a domestic terrorist group? Do you know that it was condemned as a terrorist group? Do you know they kill cops? I have a problem when you're trying to kill a police officer. I have a big problem with that. I have a problem when teachers are passing out flyers, recruiting children to go to the courthouse, to protest Black Lives Matters, when you have people sitting with signs that says all cops are bastards. Really? All cops are bastards? No, I think you people are, because the way you're acting and the way you're treating our children and our police officers and making them believe that it's okay to abuse them, I'll be damned if I'm going to sit here and let you do that. No, I will become your worst nightmare, because I'm going to stand here and keep fighting and fighting and fighting and fighting.
Thank you.
And if not, I can actually go out, get signatures. What happens if we stop paying school taxes? You're going to arrest all the community? The majority of the community? No, I don't think so. This won't be the last of me. I want everyone to know what's going on, because you're hiding it. You're hiding it. You know who does that? Communists do that. That's what you're doing. Recruiting children. Children. You're recruiting children to hate our police officers. How dare you? You have a librarian in the high school passing out Black Lives Matter pins. When a student asks for a blue live, why would I have that? Why would she have that? What did you do for police week?
How?
Why don't you tell me, sir? What is it you want to tell me?
You've had your 2 minutes.
I don't need 2 minutes. I can go as long as I like.
No, that's not the board.
No? Oh. Where does it say that I can't? Is there a law against that?
There's
We do
board
have a policy.
A board policy. Who makes these board policies?
The board.
The board. And who pays the board?
No one.
Nobody.
Nobody? The chair you're sitting on, we pay for it. The lights that are on, we pay for. We pay for everything. You want to silence me because I spoke the truth. I spoke the truth. Everyone out there heard me. Whether they agree or they don't, they're going to start looking into it. And now you're exposed. That's all. It's going to end. This indoctrination and hatred towards our police officers, this systematic racism and cancel culture is going to end. You came to the wrong school district to do this, okay? You need to respect every child. So therefore, no politics should be discussed in school, whether it be conservatism, democratic, liberalism. You gave a survey after the elections. Why? Why did you ask students who they voted for? What did it matter? No answer, huh? You have no answers for me. I didn't expect an answer. That's okay, though. We'll get them some way or another. Same way you can't show us where all our money goes, right? Yeah, that's what I thought. Thank you.
I'll straight up call it out. I'm like so over it. Okay. Okay, well, I would be super proud of you if you chose to get the vaccine. But, yeah.
So, like, this is awesome. Great start to the year. I already have, is that, like, the reason it's called
Yeah. We'll just keep getting we'll just keep getting variants over and over and over until people get vaccinated. It's never going to end. Exactly. It could end in 5 seconds if people would get vaccinated. Yes. I hate Donald Trump. I'm going to say it. I don't care what y'all think. Trump sucks. He is a sexual predator. He's a literal moron. Go tattle on me to the freaking admin. They don't give a crap. No, he is not.
What are you talking about?
Turn off the Fox News. Do your parents listen to Fox News? So what? This is my classroom, and if you guys are going to put me at risk, you're going to hear about it because I have to be here. I don't have to be happy about the fact that there's kids coming in here with their variants that could possibly get me or my family sick. That's rude. And I'm not going to pretend like it's not. So don't ask me to.
All the right.
That's damn right. I'm not going to pretend. I'm not going to lie. If you ask me a legit question, I'm not going to lie. I'm not going to sugarcoat it either. Because y'all need to hear the truth.
Hey, I 100% agree. You have opinions. I'm also just a dumb teenager.
You don't have to be, though. That's the thing. Most of y'all parents are dumber than you. I'm going to say that out loud. My parents are freaking dumb. Okay? And the minute I figured that out, the world opens up. You don't have to do everything your parents say, and you don't have to believe everything your parents believe, because most likely you're smarter than them.
I 110% disagree. My parents are geniuses. I'm the idiot of the family. Like 110%.
You can believe what you want to believe, but keep it quiet in here, because I'm probably going to make fun of you. Okay, I'll just say this. Here are the topics that you probably want to avoid in this class. Politics, which you went into. You asked me.
It's kind of fun to talk about it.
Oh, I could go off on it the whole entire class period if you want me to. But I'm not going to, because it's chemistry. You need to do chemistry. If you don't believe in climate change, get the hell out.
I'll be dead.
Okay? That's pathetic that you think that. You're the problem with the world. Okay? If you're a homophobe, get out.
Thank you.
Because I am the GSA faculty advisor. I love gay people. All LGBTQIA plus mother. If you don't like it, get out. If I hear you say a damn word against any of them, I will open a can. And I will make your life a living hell. And they know it. If you say shiz to any LGBTQ kid in the school, I will hear about it. And you will be in trouble.
I think I love you even more.
Of course, Leesburg, Virginia has become the epicenter for parents who stand up to the school board and say, look, I'm not happy with what's being taught there. They had a speaker yesterday, a woman by the name of Keisha King from Duval County down in Florida. And she said, look, now that the FBI is going to be looking at noisy parents, maybe it's time that we get the heck out. Watch this.
They want to silence us and shut us down. I really think at this point, the only thing to do is have a mass exodus from the public school system. That's it. We've been at these school board meetings. We've been voicing our opinions. We're writing articles. We're emailing teachers. We're doing all that stuff, and they don't care. So I'm like, the only thing left to do is to just peace out.
Yeah, and there was some talk that this critical race theory was back in Duval County back in 2010. And keep in mind, too, remember the Attorney General Garland told the FBI, be on the lookout for the domestic terrorists on those school board meetings, those horrible parents down the block that organize garage sales and block parties. We got to rein them in. Right. Yeah, and lemonade stands. The Attorney General might have a conflict of interest. You hear about this? It turns out he's got a son-in-law who is involved with Panorama Education. It's a group that allegedly utilizes critical race theory teaching and has contracts with school boards across the country. As Alarm Parents Group revealed on Tuesday, this guy, Merrick Garland, Mr. Law and Justice, should, did I say that right?
Recuse himself.
No, but Law and Justice.
Law and Order?
Law and Order, I should say.
That's
Mr. Law and Order.
TV show.
Yeah, it was successful. Mr. Law and Order should recuse himself from this.
He's the top law enforcement officer.
He can't have a son-in-law in this business.
And Brian, that particular fact was revealed on this program because you were talking to somebody from Fairfax County on Tuesday who revealed that, and it's like, wait, what is that about? Turns out, apparently it's true.
Osna Nomani, she's been on our show a lot. She's the mom from Fairfax. Her child graduated, but she's still on the forefront of this issue because she doesn't want critical race theory taught in the schools.
So I'm just saying, when you go up there and you show emotion, not usually a public speaker, you're passionate that maybe your first graders shouldn't be learning about transgender sex, and all of a sudden you get a little emotional, you bang the lectern. One school board person goes, I felt threatened by Mr. Johnson. Next thing you know, they're knocking at your door, and the Johnson's got to go retain a lawyer.
It's been a big deal here in New York, and I've had friends with kids in some of these schools where they disagree, and some of the parents have chosen not to pull the students out because the kids have friends there. They love the school. They're really great schools, but those parents are not afraid to go to the school and talk to the leaders, talk to some of the teachers that are teaching these things, and have a good debate. And you can do it. You can say it all politely and with civility. I just had a friend yesterday who had to do this. She was nervous about calling the teacher, and she did, and they had a great debate and a great talk about some disagreements about what was being taught in a religion class about the Bible. She said, my family teaches this. She said, well, we look at it differently, and they had a discussion about it.
Well, I wonder if some of these teachers who are impacted would start saying, okay, now let me explain the First Amendment and how that works in the United States, except if you are at a school board meeting.
Right.